Hi, so a lot of people keep saying that the legibility of the text on your book cover is really important, especially on Amazon when they're just looking at the thumbnail. And the idea is because people will only see that thumbnail view and they're only going to see it for a second. So some authors think you need really big, loud text to catch their attention. And I'm going to try to prove to you that that's not at all true. It's something that keeps repeating. And the problem with it is that a lot of people who don't know anything about book cover design are designing covers so that people can read the text in a thumbnail. And when you actually click on the cover and see the big view, it's an ugly cover with really loud, bold, way too big text that screws up the design. The book cover design is not the place to share the cognitive information that's going to make the purchasing decision. The book cover design has to connect with the readers emotionally immediately, and you do that with the pictures and the colors, not the text. Text is something extra. So you just want text that indicates the right genre or style and text that appeals to the target readers based on the style of the genre. It doesn't really matter if all the text on the cover can be read. What you're going for is that emotional feeling that readers are going to feel when they see that kind of design because they know they're attracted to genre covers in that category. And so I'm just going to show you a few things on Amazon so you see what I'm talking about. And so let's just look up here on Amazon. Here's a few covers, recommendations from my Kindle store because these are things that I've looked at before. So Sean Platt and Johnny B. Truant's cover looks fine. It's a nice title font. You can read it, but there's a lot of small text you can't read very well. It doesn't really matter for nonfiction. Nonfiction is always going to have big, bold fonts. Nick Stephenson's book is really powerful just because these fonts are so big and powerful. I repeated myself, but it's Baba's New. It's a really common bold serif font that works really well for nonfiction. But all this little text, I know some authors would say, you know, you don't even need to bother putting this small text on there because you can't see it as a thumbnail. And that's not true because if I care at all about this book, if it catches my attention, I'll see this little text here and I'll assume it must be more important. It must say something like best-selling author or a review by somebody famous. So I'll click it to see the big view. Here's a couple of fiction covers that are well done, very beautiful, a lot of emotion, color contrast with the blues and the reds and the blues and kind of the orange. So those work really well. This is kind of a script font that's, you can still read it, but it's not totally obvious. Here's another one. I'm going to click on one of these just to kind of go in. These happen to have really big fonts too, but then there's a lot of small text here that I can't see. And like here, this is the thumbnail view. These are really tiny for me. I can't really read the title on that one, but the cover looks well designed. I can see the picture. This title is really kind of messed up, but if I click on it, it's actually a really beautiful font effect that will appeal. I like this cover. I'm going to save it. I have a collection of covers I like. It's a really nice one. So this is kind of something similar, but probably more a basic cover and kind of weirdly done where it's half girl, half wolf. Simple fonts, clean. It's okay, but it's not nearly as powerful as this one. And this one has really messy, decorative fonts. Here's two more I can't quite read. My point is, the important thing, especially on fiction, is the picture. So here, like, this is a beautiful, edgy romance picture. It happens to have really bold text for more like a dystopian adventure. This is the kind of text you would have. For paranormal romance, you'd usually get a script font. Script fonts like this are really hard to read as thumbnail, but you wouldn't want to change this to like a simple serif font just so that it could be legible, because it's more important to convey to readers what type of genre this is in. That's more important than being able to read the text. And that's going to be true in almost every genre. This one's really hard to read. I don't really love the cover. This one I can't read at all. Same with this one. Now, it doesn't really mean anything whether or not you can read the text, because I can tell like these images, they're not strong enough to call my attention at all. This one's better because it has more contrast. It's more of a dramatic picture. But the thing, I mean, you want to focus on the art that makes readers feel the right kind of emotion. And if the art is strong enough, you just want the text to kind of get out of the way. So you don't want to add huge, bold text that takes over the picture and distracts the reader, because the art is the thing that's doing the job of getting the readers to click to the next part of the Amazon page. You want people to click and look in. This is a really nice one. I add these, the ones I like, I'll add to my Pinterest board, or I put on my website as example covers of stuff that I like. Anyway, the stuff I'm looking at right now, it's a lot of this dystopian genre is going to have really bold, clean text like that. And like self-help, nonfiction probably will too. But some genres, for example, like historical fiction, it's not a category where you're going to see a lot of big, bold fonts because it wouldn't fit with the genre. What you're going to see is a lot of smaller script fonts. You'll see a lot of really little text that's spread out. This one's something that's very simple picture, very simple text. You could do this yourself on like Word or any simple graphics editor. But if your cover is good enough and simple enough, and your book is good, it's fine. You're still going to do well. But like this one, when you're starting out and you need that edge to catch their attention, this one's similar. It's, it's a same category. It's a house, but this one just has so much more contrast, color, the vignette effect around the edges, which is where it's kind of darker, and a much more decorative font. And it's doing really well. I think I'll even buy that one because I like the cover and it's best-selling. Anyway, I'm kind of on the outside of this piece of advice because most people will tell you that the legibility of the text on your thumbnail is very important, but I think they misunderstand the point of cover design. And the point of cover design is not to be read, because people don't read the text on your cover. People will read the text that's down here under the cover. No one's going to squint and look really hard and try to figure out what those fonts say, because the title is right there. So you don't have to worry about it as hard as you think you have to worry about it. It's more important to get the art right and to make the art really strong and colorful and beautiful to get them to click to that next step. Okay? I may not have convinced you, but those are my thoughts on it. And I've actually worked with almost 1,000 authors now, so I have more data than most people have access to in regards to which kinds of covers get the clicks and get the sales. So that's kind of the position I'm talking from. Anyway, I'm going to stop and see you next time.